Didier Drogba, A Legacy Beyond Football is a documentary that celebrates the life and career of one of football's greatest icons. From his humble beginnings in Ivory Coast to his rise as a global superstar at Chelsea and his leadership of the Ivorian national team, Drogba's story is one of passion, resilience, and triumph. Beyond the pitch, he has become a powerful symbol of peace, philanthropy, and the transformative power of sport. This film explores not only his legendary footballing achievements but also his lasting impact on Africa and the world. This section will delve into Drogba's early years, focusing on his childhood in Ivory Coast and the pivotal move to France that shaped his career. It will emphasize his humble beginnings and the influences that propelled him toward football stardom. Drogba was born on January 11, 1978, in Abidjan, Ivory Coast. His early life was marked by hardship, as his parents sent him to France at the age of 5 to live with his uncle, far away from his family. Drogba developed his skills at local football clubs in France. The documentary will explore how his experiences growing up in a foreign land, as an African immigrant, influenced his determination to succeed. Early professional career: Drogba's rise through the ranks of French football, playing for Laval-Lois, then Le Mans, and eventually Guingamp. His breakthrough season at Guingamp helped him secure a transfer to Olympique Marseille, a defining moment that began his ascent to international stardom. The Chelsea years, defining a career. Drogba's arrival at Chelsea in 2004 for a then-club record transfer fee of £24 million marked a turning point in both his career and the club's history. This section will chronicle his development from a promising striker to one of the most feared and influential players in the world. Didier Drogba's arrival at Chelsea, under the management of José Mourinho, was a significant moment. Despite initial struggles to adapt to the Premier League, Drogba's determination paid off, and he soon became an indomitable force. Premier League success: Drogba won 4 league titles, helped Chelsea secure numerous domestic cups, and formed an iconic partnership with players like Frank Lampard and John Terry. UEFA Champions League glory: a major highlight of Drogba's career, the 2012 UEFA Champions League final against Bayern Munich, would be a focal point. The drama of the match, where Drogba scored the equalizer and netted the winning penalty, would be presented as a culmination of his years of dedication. Leadership on and off the pitch: Drogba was more than just a striker. He was Chelsea's leader, the heart of the team, with his fire and presence on the field motivating others. This segment will explore his role as captain and the emotional and tactical impact he had on the team. International glory with Ivory Coast. Drogba's international career with Ivory Coast was marked by highs and lows. His leadership through difficult periods of political unrest, his role in African football, and his dedication to his country would be explored in depth. Drogba led Ivory Coast to their first ever World Cup in 2006. The documentary would examine the emotional roller coaster of that tournament, their near miss against Argentina, and how Drogba's leadership was instrumental in their performance. The documentary would also cover the painful moments, such as the 2010 World Cup, where Ivory Coast fell short, and the heartbreak of losing in multiple Africa Cup of Nations finals. These setbacks would be contrasted with Drogba's determination to keep leading his nation. Drogba's redemption came in 2012 when he captained Ivory Coast to their first Africa Cup of Nations title, a moment of immense pride. The documentary will highlight the significance of this victory for Drogba personally, after years of near misses. Political and social impact: Drogba's efforts during Ivory Coast's civil war were profound. His calls for peace, using his platform to bring attention to the importance of unity and reconciliation, would be a major theme of this section. His emotional message after scoring in the 2006 World Cup and his involvement in peace initiatives will be explored. Humanitarian efforts: a life beyond football. Beyond football, Drogba's humanitarian efforts in Africa and globally have defined his legacy. His work with the Didier Drogba Foundation, as well as his efforts to improve healthcare, education, and infrastructure in Ivory Coast, will be a key focus. Drogba founded the Didier Drogba Foundation, which works to improve the quality of life in Ivory Coast and other African nations. The documentary will highlight key projects such as the construction of hospitals, the improvement of educational systems, and support for orphans and vulnerable children. Drogba's role in promoting access to healthcare, particularly in the fight against malaria and HIV/AIDS in Africa, will be a key part of this section. His work with organizations like the UN and his personal investment in healthcare initiatives will be featured. Role model and inspiration: Drogba's global influence as a positive role model for young Africans and footballers around the world will be explored. His role in breaking barriers for African players in European football is part of his lasting legacy. Life after football, a new chapter. After retiring from professional football in 2018, Drogba has remained influential in football, business, and politics. This section will explore his post-retirement journey. Drogba's work as a football ambassador and his involvement in mentoring young players and promoting African football will be highlighted. His brief foray into management, including his time as president of the Ivorian Football Federation, will also be explored. Business ventures: Drogba's ventures outside of football, including his investments in technology, sports management, and his business partnerships, will show how he has leveraged his football success for broader entrepreneurial goals. Personal life: the documentary will offer a more personal look at Drogba's life after football, including his family, his time spent in England and Ivory Coast, and how he navigates the challenges of being a global icon. Drogba's legacy: the lion who roared beyond the pitch. The documentary will conclude with a powerful reflection on Drogba's lasting legacy. Through interviews with teammates, coaches, journalists, and world leaders, this final section will celebrate his contributions to the sport, society, and the African continent. Impact on Chelsea and football: Drogba's immense contribution to Chelsea and European football will be summarized, with a focus on his status as one of the greatest African footballers to ever play the game. Cultural impact: Drogba's influence goes beyond football. His success story as an African player in European football, his role in political peace building, and his philanthropic work will cement his place as a global icon. Didier Drogba, A Legacy Beyond Football will be a documentary that not only celebrates the footballing legend but also showcases a man whose impact has transcended the sport. It will be a story of resilience, leadership, and compassion, ultimately painting a portrait of a global icon whose legacy will endure for generations.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Join our community by subscribing.